Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to SKTV Live. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. Good morning. Let's share the show as you join us. Happy Thursday. It's a good day to be alive. So let's share the show. Oh, sorry about that. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show as we prepare to get into the conversation for today. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Padawan, let's share the show. Let's share the show, please. It's a good thing to be alive. We have a lot to cover. I see some of you showing face already. Let's share the show as much as we can. Let's share it all over, please. Let's share the show. Thank you and thank you. Let's share the show. Good morning to all of you, Melbourne, Monk, and I think who will join us soon. But let's share the show in the meantime, please. A lot of things happening, folks. Good morning from my end. Okay, somebody said, finally, some of you are receiving a notification, huh? I know it's been a little difficult to receive the notification. It has. It has. It has been a little difficult for some of you to receive the notification, but let's share the show. The most important thing is for us to share the show as you join. I'm even seeing some people that I haven't seen for a while. I'm seeing them. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. Good morning. I don't know if I'm tired or I don't know. Liberian politics. But let's share the show though. On some real note, let's share the show. I don't know what my background is showing today, but hey, it is what it is. Let's share the show. Melbourne will be joining us here. Monk.
Let me see.
Dwayne says he's watching us from Minnesota. Dwayne, I've been here, my man. Is that MIA? No, I've been here. I just been minding my business. Nobody here now. Yeah, so we good. My young man.
Yeah, my brother, what's up, man? I haven't seen you, man. How you doing, man?
My young man, I hear you are speaking serious. So what's going on?
I'm okay, man. And at your end, how everything from your end?
My man, lead story, man. Lead story, man.
No. I want to. Is that Sata Cody, right? Mm-hmm. Series better than easy. Yeah. letting enough food to speak series. Well, again, we will speak all of the best of series to all of you. Whoever said Pierre, I will speak series. Some of you know, Steve. My brother just passed on. Hello, Steve.
Yeah, River says saying something very important.
Oh, is there what in that?
I agree with River says. River says raise a valid point. River said we're very sorry. We ourselves on the show don't even know where the restriction, the inability to share the show, the a lot of different things happened that people are not getting notification. My inbox is literally, I don't want to use the word flooded, but that's true. People have been reaching out about the concerns that the show have not been shared and they're not getting notification if we still come on or whatever not. Yeah, I mean, so it's been that way. So we're very sorry, my man. I don't think it's a deliberate thing that we've done. I don't know. To be honest, we practically don't even know what happened. The other day we were on the show, and we couldn't even get notification. I think Melbourne, if you can recall, Melbourne had to leave the show. I left. Sekou had to leave as well. It was awful, So there's so much we can do.
And let me join you, Steve. Even apart from River said, there are also some of our strong backbone, like say Miata, our Oman, they're not also getting the notification and it's just like that, So again, I want to join Steve for us to sincerely apologize to all of you. Even though Steve, some of our old folks do their hands also well, and we'll also send our speedy recovery tree out to some of our members. That means some of our followers who left, just maybe because of one or two reasons that maybe we could not easily reach out to you. Also, we will use some of the time to say we want you back and we sincerely apologize. Maybe one way or you're not been seeing the show notification. We're sorry. So, my brother, what's up?
My man, I don't even know where to start from, but let me greet our people first. It's good to be back. It's good to be on SKTV. Happy Thursday to all of you. We're headed into the weekend. To listeners at large in the country, we want to say thank you for joining us via the radio. Those of you who have not tuned in, if you haven't shared the show, share the show. We have a lot to talk about. Most of these conversations will spill into tomorrow through Saturday and maybe on Sunday. So Melbourne, I know we have a packed show that we have a lot to uncover. However, I think in the interest of time and all that, we want to encourage you to please share the show. Let the show reach as many people as it can. As always, the Liberian people are the most important people on earth. But most importantly, the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. Melbourne, my man, thank you for always checking on. I know this morning we're on. We always talk. Sometimes we talk 3, 4, 5 times a day, me and you. Whether that through text or that talking or whatever. Let me let the people know that I've been in serious consultation with your deacon.
Yeah.
The deacon have been filling me in on the social activities, on the political activities, and on everything. So, Melbourne, quickly, let's start with social, get into the seriousness of this conversation, because there are a lot of things to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about quickly, Melbourne, let's get into it, because we have 1 or 2 videos to show the Liberian people. We'll go back into the historicity of everything. We'll show these videos. We want you to take key notes. We don't want nobody to lie to you. We want to be able to tell you the truth from the beginning so that you can make informed decisions. It's going to be up to you what you want to do. It's going to be up to you how you want to handle this. But we are headed in a very, very dangerous path. But socially, Melbourne, what say you before we get into playing the videos? Because we got short videos to play today.
Well, my brother, socially, I think there are so many things happening. The only one that really caught my attention, if you did on yesterday, a graduate of the AMEU yesterday recognizing her former ex-husband, yesterday for everything that, according to all that he has done in her life, making sure that she was 100% in with knowledge. So even though they are no longer together, but she recognized that, and that spark of a well welcoming recognition yesterday from social media followers that indeed that's the best way to go. Even though you and the person will have your own routes and fall, but sometimes men always sacrificing for women, but when they reach a certain level, they never come back to say thank you for even for taking me from scratch to where I am today. Only few of them, including that lady on yesterday. So indeed, she was well praised. She was, if I talk about yesterday, people admire her for that, and other are also calling on so many women to come out also and appreciate men. Even if you have some disagreement with men, come on and say, yes, yesterday was good. Because maybe somebody thinks Steve is possible that somebody probably may let them come for so many women. So if maybe the man, maybe one way or the other, maybe the man caught you maybe in cheating or maybe into some kind of thing, and the man leave you, it doesn't mean that the man will not have fought to you before. But sometimes women feel that we 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 play no impact in their lives. So they just do anything that they want to do, even when they leave. But at the end of the day, men go through all the stress and frustration and everything, and nothing comes from out of it. And the society see us as men, as people who should be strong, people who have no rights, people who, don't, so that's one of the things that caught my attention apart from Sata, Corey, and one of our brother on our start to call it Mr. Corey. They are fights and so full claim and counter claims as to some are saying, according to some of my relatives, news though, I'm not say my opinion, and I didn't believe that in fact that she not too okay, she has some spiritual problem and so forth. But how will somebody, there's a questions, so many questions running in the minds of people, how will somebody with that kind of spiritual problem be able to even ask Mark Zuckerberg why you did my video, why you doing this, why this one happening to me, thank to my followers, the person eating time, the person go to the bathroom and have shower and so forth. So these are some of the mixed reactions in the mind of people. So far so good. These are the social news from my end.
Well, Milbon, thank you. Let me start off first by the lady that you said recognized her ex-husband for being there, even though they're no longer together, for support. Let me tell you something, Milbon. This is part of humanity, and I'm going to say this. It will probably sound a little controversial or however people want to term it as, but I'll say it to be on the record. I think we Liberians, most of us are one of the most ungrateful types of people on earth. And so things like thank you, please, you're welcome, they're not something that's part of our culture. Sometimes we feel entitled and so forth. So I appreciate the lady for recognizing the role that her ex-husband played in her educational journey. It's a good thing. It is a good thing. I think it is the right thing to do, especially when people, even in disagreements, when people do good for you or so forth, it's okay to appreciate them or to recognize the good that they do for you. There's nothing wrong with that. I think if we can adapt that, that would be great. For example, you send money for somebody and they say, well, that $100 you're sending me, well, that's part of the ungratefulness, right? When we say these things, people say, oh, yeah, well, let us talk down people that your help or whatever it is. Look, anything that you didn't work for, somebody gave it to you free of charge or as a blessing or contribution, they can be the smallest of things. Be appreciative. Just be appreciative. Be thankful. Be thankful. But some of them will argue and make it look like it's the inherent right and so forth. So if she did that, then guess what? I applaud her. I think it's the right thing to do, and there's nothing wrong with it, But let's come to one of the most trending things that is on social media that I'm seeing our people, many of them have turned to practitioners, many of them have turned to expert and so forth. Let me start off first of all by saying, me personally, when it comes to these things, whether the psychological issue, mental health issue, substance abuse issue, whatever it is, I personally don't like to talk about it that much because many of us don't know the gravity. We don't understand the impact, the effect. We run around and say, and openly just throw diagnosis and throw words on people, right? It's different than when you're using adjective to describe something or so forth. Oh, just before I get to that, let me finish my train of thought, and I'll get to the adjective part, because I meant to talk about it today as well. You know, before you diagnose someone that they have mental issue, there are steps. There are things that has to be done. That's why I'm careful about laying all labels or throwing, because these things can go a long way. I don't know the guy. I don't know a history. I don't know a background. I don't know whatever happened. Right? There are a lot of different factors that could be in play here. Now, I'm not saying that things might not have happened behind closed doors. I'm hearing other people saying, "What, the man been violent to her behind closed door too," or whatever it is. Either way you put it, whether he been violent to her, she been violent to him behind closed door, and this is the first time it's coming to light. Okay, Monk wants to link. Maybe I thought I sent it to him. I oversight. But,
let me do. Steve, talk. Okay. Don't forget it. I'm going to do. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. So it's important for us to be careful about throwing labels and so forth. Very, very important. I wouldn't do that. Me personally, with what I know, there are steps. Again, there are things that you have to do. There are processes before you even diagnose someone, right? There are a lot of different factors that could have been happening. Like I said, the people have probably had issues behind closed doors. Either way, what we saw in public was the reflection of maybe some of the things that either been boiling behind closed or whatever it is, and it's very unhealthy. Let me put it that way. It's unhealthy. It's unsafe. That whether the men used to beat her before or they used to fight or whatever it is unhealthy. It is unsafe. It is. No one should be hitting anyone. No woman, no man. And let me say to some of the women who want to justify it, say, "Oh, the man can be hitting her behind closed, or you don't know the story or whatever it is." Here's my honest recommendation. If that man hit her behind closed, my honest recommendation to that sister, get the police involved, get the authority involved. Let me say this. Domestic violence, hitting people, beating on people, doing all they want, my people are not good. It's not a safe practice. So coming to the mental health part of it, when people want to diagnose or whatever it is, like I said, there are processes, there are steps, and so forth, right? There are processes and steps, that comes with this. And so it's important for us to be very, 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 very careful. It's important for us to be very, very careful as to what we do. Now, people can run around with their views, their opinions, or whatever it is of the matter. People can do that. There's nothing wrong with it.
So Steve, maybe before more come on, but more, let me say,
let me finish my thought. I had a distraction here at the.
Oh, okay. Because I want to ask you a question too. So social question.
So the last part of that I wanted to say is people can give their opinions and their views because maybe it's in the public or whatever it is, but most of the opinions and the views on some of these things, people are entitled to them, but it still doesn't make the situation a good situation. It still doesn't make it a safe situation, and so we have to be careful about how we go about these things and what we do. We have to be very, very careful. So that's one aspect of it. That is one aspect of it. The last part I want to talk about is this. In order to even say that they got mental health problem or got psychological problem or whatever it is, and I'm hearing maybe some people are saying, well, that is spiritual or whatever it is. Let me say this. For those of you who want to link to what the Christians are or the spiritual side, let me say this to you. When you have spiritual problems, that thing what we can call in the person gets spiritual problems, spirit behind it, or whatever it is. Sometimes it's not a spiritual problem. Sometimes it's just a mental health. It's a mental breakdown. Sometimes it's just a psychiatric breakdown because of different issue at a time. Sometimes it's just event that happen and people can handle the stressors at a time. So for us to rush to say that spiritual thing, okay, let's agree that a spiritual thing. Then why she not go fight in her spirit? Why she go fight in the spiritual war? Why she gotta come do it physical? Why she gotta go burn the place? Also, the spirit can only tell her to go burn a horse and fight man and commit crimes or whatever it is. And to the brother, let me say this to that brother. Let me just say this to that brother. And the colleague or whatever his name is. Let me say this to the colleague or whatever it is. The idea that you're going to call the man and you're going to call the other person or whatever it is. Let me say this to brother colleague. And I will sound a little going over the edge on this, or somebody might say, oh, it's too harsh. You said it that way. I'll be very clear about certain things. Get the authority involved. Let me say it again. Get the authority involved. This foolish mentality that we have in us as Liberians, where we think we got to be violent to send out or express things, our dislike. We think we got to hit on somebody, whether a male or woman. Get the authority involved. Call the police. Let them carry her. Let me say this. You know, people don't like to hear these things. People like all the sugar-coated. When somebody get killed, or when somebody get incapacitated or hurt to the point where they can't move, then we'll start praying or we'll start collecting money for them. Whatever was done in public, whatever you saw on that video, I don't care what was going on in your head or whatever it is wrong. I don't care what the precipitating factor is, it is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. Whether that man did it or that woman did it, it is wrong. And for those of you men who are sitting behind the horn, yes, sitting there, a woman hitting on you and the other person beating on you, or you women who are sitting there, the man beating on you, you better get the authority involved. Keep sitting down there. You'll be on your Liberian mentality thing. So one of you will either get fingerprinted where you can't work anymore in the country, or you be labeled some kind of way, or you get some kind of crime on you or something. You shouldn't get the authority involved and get the necessary help that you own. You'll be passing around from Facebook to Facebook, and you'll be talking things that require some serious interventions. You'll be passing around from talk show to talk show and analyzing the people who get their own problem. They're facing their own issues. And they're making it look like this is a normal thing. They want to normalize these things. So maybe that's my take on it. You know, I think it's unfortunate. I think it's very, very.
More comment before I can ask, because maybe Monk want to say one or two things to the social issues. Monk, good evening.
Yeah, what's up, Mabon? What's up to the rest of the listening audience, including Steve? Yeah, I was behind town, I was running, coming from downtown. No, things changing here faster and gradually for me. So it's sad to say, but the way I'm looking at things, maybe before the end of the month, I will not be a regular picture on the XKTV. It's changing here so rapidly, and the schedule is becoming tighter by the day. So maybe I will be calling in like before. I will still be participating on event happening on SKTV, but I don't think I will be here during the week. Maybe once in a while on the weekend if I'm changed. But that's the breaking news for today. I mean, because I just got some update again, and I got to get going. So it's sad to say, but I will still be here. I will still be participating in every event happening on SKTV, whether it's once in a while on Friday, whether it's calling to admonish people to make their contribution and stuff. We are still here on this journey, so I'm not leaving, but I won't be here like regular. But you know, maybe I think we started a conversation you and myself before Steve, when Steve was gone. I keep telling people, for me, I got my own way of doing things. I don't play expert in things that I don't know. Anytime you see me espousing on any issue with me, I have done my research. I got critical information. I know how to make an informed decision. I'm now a psychoanalyst, neither am I any kind of a behavioral therapist. So I say when Steve comes, he will give a better insight as to what's happening. But the very first thing I would say concerning that matter, I will extend my sincere appreciation to the colleague guy, because the one thing that I know the man is the dominant of his species. When one thing men hate is open provocation. And I cannot tell of too many men that know they are on Facebook Live from a woman who set up a camera and to start hating on her man to show that kind of a restraint. Because I know 99 out of 100 and that nonsense will not work with me. I cannot talk for other men, but I'm just saying men in particular, for that kind of a public humiliation, for a woman to set up a camera and you the man knowing that you are on Facebook Live and she keep hitting you in the stomach, punching you, for you to keep your cool, I must give him credit for that. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing is, you know, I keep telling people about the whole thing about societal programming expectation. They were quick to come up with diagnosis because it was all about covering up for the woman. I don't know what's happening, whether she's going through a mental problem or whatsoever, but I know some of the tendencies that she showed, it has nothing to do with mental issue. And the whole idea that this woman can keep updating every hour to tell the amount of followers. So it's almost like she intentionally creating drama with the expectation of exposing her views on social media. Because I got some of her screenshots and some of her posts. She telling people, oh, thank you, now we are 5,000. Thank you, now we are 7,000. So the people who come with the spiritual and the witchcraft interpretation, I know the only reason they were quick to run to mental diagnosis because it was a female. But I bet you 99 out of 100 times, if we have been the men, oh, then it's a whole different kind of a discussion. So I'm not about to weigh on the psychological part. That Steve can do that. That's his area of expertise. That have no idea in mental analysis or behavioral therapists, like I said. But I just observe a few things happening between both of them, and I'm gonna extend total appreciation to the colleague guy, because I think he showed too much of a restraint, and not too many men will be able to do that under extreme pressure.
Good. So how about the other?
Yes, but Mark, that's something I don't want to overlook. You said I think I agree with you that he showed restraint. That's very true. But I think he also needs to go above and beyond just that restraint, because
for sure. Get the authority involved, like you said. You don't take it for granted. This America, my brother. Everything is law. It's on the book. You don't do that Liberia thing here, because at the end of the day, if things go worse, he will be held accountable. The law is not really in favor of men, so men should always take precautions. So I will go with that advice. Get the authorities involved. That's one thing I know.
Get the authorities involved as much as you can. Mr. Cannon, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, we're doing very, very great. Today we are going to be, before I give you a chance to greet our people, today we are going to be zooming on the foreign policy of Liberia, because we see that there seem to be mixed signals, whether it's from the alleged turning over of the quote-unquote or alleged Guinean guy who is also a Liberian, dual citizenship kind of situation. But we're also seeing the Russian signal of the Russian embassy being open in Liberia. Up until now, we're not clear about the diplomacy or the foreign policy of this country. We'll go back into some brief history, because we have some short video clips that we want to play for the Liberian people to remind some of these partisans who think that the United States, some of them are playing, America not do anything for all America, that kind of funny talk that they can run with. Well, they want to take them back just a little bit so they can understand the historicity and know what went on, what are some of the investments that were made, and so forth, starting from whose era and how it happened. So read our people, and then we'll go straight into the videos quickly. They're short videos, so that we expand on and open the line. Go for it, Mr. Khaled.
Well, I don't think I have much to say. Just to say thank you to Mabel, Brazilian monk, for keeping the show going, regardless what I went. But I was hearing Monk saying something. I didn't hear everything, but everything is declined right now until we have backdoor conversation. I heard Monk saying certain thing. I didn't hear it clearly, but we have to talk in the back. So we don't want to hear any spoiler story on the show.
Yeah, seriously.
Once we agree, started, then they were happy. But for now, everything remains constant. Everything remains the same. So yeah, Monk and Mabon, thank you guys, and Steve as well. So I want to say thank you to our viewers, our followers, those that share the show, and those that are listening on the radio, but they don't have means of sharing the show. We want to say thank you to all of you for being a follower of SKTV. And we really appreciate you. Without you guys, we will not be on here. I know SKTV is booming, a lot going on behind the scene. I've been hearing a lot of good things from people and other people. At the end of the day, SKTV is where we can all come and share our opinion on issues and agree to disagree with each other. At the end of the day, we agree because we have a common denominator, which is Liberia. No matter what happens, nobody can be deported. Nobody can deport any of us from Liberia. The only thing I don't know now, the way they're taking people now from prison.
Your government extraditing you.
Got missing. So I don't know about that part. I can't guarantee anything on that line. But Steve, I'm okay. I told you I was tired. I was going to rest, but Steve said, no, you got to come on the show today. I said, okay, we promised to be on. We'll be on. So we're here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kane. Let me get some of the videos rolling quick just to save time, because we'll have most of the other time to react and talk about some of these videos. And the foreign policy, I want to make sure we get our feedback. Folks, please, if you're just joining or help us share the show, let's play the first video. This first video is from one of your presidents. This first video is from one of your presidents. I want you to listen very, very carefully to what is said in this video. and you will recognize this guy. Give me a second. You will recognize this guy. Many of you will know this guy. Some of you were much younger, but for us who were, at that time, be born, me born, remember the thing, me born, late born at that time. But let's play it.
Mr. President, to begin with, what do you see as the main problems facing Liberia? What are your main hopes in the next couple of years?
My main problem is economic development. My hope is to overcome that problem.
Now, the United States itself has had probably a rocky year economically, as you know. Has that had an effect here?
I said anything that affects the economic condition in the States and the dollar would certainly affect us because, our dollar value is more or less tied up with the value of the dollar of the United States. And much of our trade that goes into countries that are affected by the dollar devaluation certainly must have its unfavorable reflection on us here.
What can we do? I know we're doing quite a bit, but what else? What can we do?
Well, you can do a whole lot in helping us to solve the problem of economic development and making possible the infrastructures, some of which we have already. When I refer to the infrastructure, I talk about roads that can penetrate into the remote parts of our country, accelerating our agricultural enterprise, because our people are really now carrying on agriculture in a rather subsistent way. And we want to overcome that, introduce scientific methods so that their productivity can be increased, the standard of our living of our people to be raised, the gap between the haves and the have-nots can be breached, and we can develop a real middle-class citizenry that can come in and pool all of their resources together with all of our people in a totally involved manner to build our country up.
Let's think about some sort of long-range settlement.
I am optimistic. As I said, perhaps my way of thinking as against war, and it makes me have wishful objectivity in that respect, but it's my feeling that I have a feeling of optimism.
Mr. President, as a leader of a small nation here in Africa, do you think perhaps you and others like you have a special role to play in trying to solve that Mideast thing? I mean, can you put pressure to bear on both sides and so forth?
I don't want to agree with the word pressure, because I'm an individual who rather feel that men shouldn't try to pressurize others, but at least should appeal to their better sense of reasoning and consideration and appealing, so that they would be rather conciliatory. And that with that approach, not so much from a materialistic standpoint or the point of expediency, but on the point of principle and objectivity, I think an approach on the smaller countries could certainly make an impact, a favorable impact, and suggest that an action be taken that would be better in line of peace than confrontation and war.
Do you think perhaps the solution lies in the UN, or does it have to be eventually with Israel and Egypt, for example, talking face to face?
Well, the UN has been endeavoring to solve this problem from its beginning. The Organization of African Unity has lent its help. Incidentally, Liberia was among the 10 countries that had the duty of trying to mediate and make some appeal, and all have endeavored to do something. But I believe that there must be some meeting together, some coming together in a spirit of give and take, reconciliation, and not confrontation, so that a hot war wouldn't develop. There wouldn't be destruction. Because indeed, if that spirit does not develop, and there comes a confrontation and a war, it would be disastrous.
Mr. President, we hear in the States that the influence of mainland China and the Soviet Union seems to be growing in Africa. Is this true?
I would say that by way of my assessment, I think the influence of China and the Soviet Union is growing in Africa.
Is there something that perhaps the United States is either doing wrong or should be doing that it is not doing, and consequently the mainland China and Soviet Union are going into this vacuum?
Well, nature abhors a vacuum. I do not know what your great country thinks about it, but the world now, it's moving with such speed until people have to seize every opportunity to fill any point that might be considered open, that may be considered a vacuum, before conditions get in that might be difficult to get out. I think that it leaves with you to assess what you are doing in that direction.
I get the feeling that maybe we're not doing enough.
Well, make the assessment yourself.
Okay, I will upload another video quickly. We'll upload another video quickly. Just his immediate. We're playing this because we want to set the record straight before we get into the conversation for today. Please listen to this. The one will probably call it a little shorter, because we want to save or maximize time here. But I'd like for you to listen to this other guy. Oh, sorry.
Liberia is here today, and we're very proud of it.
Did we cave in on Taiwan? Only the British, not us. Your critics insist you're abandoning Taiwan, Mr. President. They're not telling the truth.
It's been a pleasure to welcome Liberian Head of State Samuel K. Doe on his first visit to the United States. It's especially fitting that we should be meeting this year as the United States and Liberia celebrate 120 years of diplomatic relations. Our discussions gave us an opportunity to reaffirm the special friendship and mutual respect between our two countries. Clearly, a firm bond unites Liberians and Americans who have come together professionally and socially throughout the years. Our two governments have a long history of cooperation on bilateral and international issues. Chairman Doe told me of his government's ambitious goals, including the return to democratic institutions and economic stabilization. We welcome his emphasis on bringing the benefits of development to every corner of Liberia, and today we discussed how the United States can assist Liberia in achieving these goals. As I stated clearly in our discussion, the United States stands by its commitments to Liberia and looks forward to continued mutual cooperation. My meeting with Chairman Doe marks the beginning of his 2-week visit to the United States, and he made me a little envious when he told me that his next stop after Washington is going to be, well, not exactly the next stop, but the next one after is going to be Los Angeles, California. But in addition to meeting with a wide range of administration officials and members of the Congress, he will have an opportunity to meet many Americans outside the government and Liberians who live in the United States as well. The personal ties among our private citizens play an important role in the special relationship between our two countries. I hope the long-standing ties between our two people and between our governments will be further strengthened in the years ahead. Mr. Chairman, you are most welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am extremely happy to be in the United States of America, long considered the lands of free and the home of the brave. My visit here today is a response to the kind invitation extended me by President Ronald Reagan, a man of abiding courage, strong will, and foresight. As you know, Liberia and the United States have a long and historic friendship which spans more than 150 years. However, as Liberia's first indigenous leader to visit the United States, my presence here is significant in two principal respects. Firstly, the first reaffirm our traditional friendship with the United States. Secondly, it portrays to the world the United States' continuing identification with and support for Liberia. In discussion with President Reagan, I explained the causes of the Liberian Revolution and the economic problem which presently confront the country. I also avowed my country's hopes and aspirations for the maintenance of a free enterprise system and our adherence to democratic ideals. Together, President Reagan and I discussed matters of international concern, particularly the war in Lebanon and independence for Namibia. I'd also delighted the economic measures being taken by our government to achieve economic recovery and promote private sector investment. We are sure that these conditions are indispensable to the achievement of the smooth transition to civilian government in 1985. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, President Reagan has shown me that we can continue to count on America's understanding and support for the fulfillment of the objectives of our revolution. This is a most welcome assurance. It demonstrates the Reagan administration commitment to maintaining the United States economic and strategies interests in Liberia. Our country serves as a mirror through which African nations can assess America's support and commitment to development countries. It is our belief that with the kind of mutual interests we share, the United States should recognize that Liberia could serve as a mirror through which its support to developing countries could be assured. Thank you very much.
Well, folks, one more last video quickly. One more, folks. I know this is, please, just bear with one more last video. This is very, very interesting. As you can recall, Chancellor did not get to do some of these things, but let's go to the immediate president after Chancellor. Let's get to this one, the last one. This is very short, and thank you for bearing with us. We'll do our best here.
At 2 o'clock, live coverage from the House here on C-SPAN.
Members of the Congress, it's my great privilege, and I deem it a high honor and personal pleasure to present to you Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President of the Republic of Liberia.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of the United States Congress, distinguished guests, I'm deeply touched by the honor bestowed on my small but proud West African Republic of Liberia. And on myself, by inviting me to address this body of representatives of the people of the great United States of America. By this invitation, you have paid one of the greatest tribute there is to those who laid down their lives for my.
Well, folks, for the sake of time, we will get into the conversation. Many of you will probably play this video another day, but many of you will have the opportunity to hear what Ellen Johnson Sirleaf said. I think the speech is very short, but we're running behind time, so we'll give it the opportunity here. We're talking about foreign policy. As you can see, leaders of the past from Talbot time, we're going way to taught me. You will say too far for some of you who are younger. We'll take it from Talbot time to today. We'll take that from Talbot time to today. So let's hear from the panelists. Let's get reaction. Monk, what say you from a foreign policy standpoint today? What say you?
For me, my thing about this whole thing, I got my personal view. I know when you live in two different eras, you got different style of leadership, but we're looking at two different eras. When it comes to the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union collapsed finally in 1991 when Ronald Reagan told Mikhail Gorbachev tear down this wall. The thing about Togo and Do, they are two different. That's why I keep talking about when a country like Liberia, you don't want to meddle into international affairs because you are now a major player on the world stage. You look at the great communicator, Ronald Reagan telling Samuel Doe about diplomatic relations and democratic institution. But Togo was the democratic elected president, or he was not elected, even though he succeeded Tubman, but he was within the constitutional limit. And you are talking about a guy that came there through undemocratic means. But that's why I don't like to play about the international politics with respect to African countries, especially for the legs of Liberia. Because when you look at the era, you listen to Toba talking about the Eastern versus the Western bloc, and he was talking about how to expand Liberia's economy with free enterprise coming from subsistence to mechanized farming and expanding the reach of Liberia in terms of economic productivity, right? But Tobo just happened to be a victim of the Cold War. So that's why he told a guy who was asking, he said, you can go and decode it for yourself. Maybe you guys need to do more. So for this reason, I'm opening my door to everybody, whether it's the Chinese, because the Chinese and the Russians are not expanding their influence in Africa. And that was almost 40 years ago, as we can see today. My thing here is, I cannot make the comparison between Tobo, even though Tobo was a victim of a Cold War. I cannot limit the president of Liberia in as much that we got a long history of America. You need to expand your base. Look, let me tell you something. Why do you think South Korea, why do you think Joseph Boga went to the South Korean summit? South Korea had never ventured on the continent of Africa, but just recently they were able to throw $10 billion worth of investment because they want to rival other countries. Africa is the home of all the resources in the world, whether it's in technology, whether it's in telecommunication. Everybody wants to extend their reach in Africa. The problem here is in Africa, we have been the one to give the raw material, and some countries are not benefiting from what they are giving in exchange. That's why you see the legs of Mali and Niger, they are changing from a traditional partner. I'm not saying that Joseph Boaga should turn a blind eye to America, but if there are other countries that are willing to join in partnership with Liberia to grow our economy, to make some huge investment, why not? Joseph Boaga could still play games with China and Russia without offending America if he knows how to walk along. Let me give you a typical example. Ghana is doing great. Ghana is on the stock exchange in London with Western countries, but there is a Russian embassy in Ghana. Why America is now offended by the fact that they do business with Ghana and Ghana have a Russian embassy? So I don't know how a country like Liberia can figure out in this thing, because I am just saying you can play international politics without offending your traditional ally. It all depends the step you want to go into. Because let's assume China, America will believe in free market capital enterprise. That's what we say. China is a communist country. They don't play by any rules or any law. But guess what? Nobody can tell you that they're going to invest $3 billion in some renewable energy. So why in case, or what happens if Russia say, okay, we want to put $5 billion here too, to invest in some of your posts and to invest into green energy? Are you going to refuse it because we are long traditional allies with America? I don't know, but it's up to the president to make that call. That's my take.
Okay, thank you, Mark. We'll talk about Mr. Kane. What is your reaction based on Liberia's foreign policy and some of the things you've heard the president said, which some of these presidents said, which is similar to today? And I want
to hear from you whether or not they're about to go for a news break before I give my opinion. What's going on, Mabel?
About to go for the news bulletin. I don't know whether you people want to join us or you want to hold on.
Would that be lecture until you can come back? Because we're not be talking about the important things here, because we want to put it on the radio to hear us too as well. So we'll hold on, get back, but we'll be talking about other issues, just in the country that we've talked about before.
Yeah, although I have some serious opinion, to express about Liberian foreign policy vis-a-vis Russia, China, and other, powerful nations in the world. And giving the historical perspective from back then and now, things have changed. So we'll talk about it.
Most definitely so, and that's why I really want to delve into it, because this is very, very.
Easy day, Virginia. She's very, very inconsistent. First, she says she tired with your video. You should stop playing video. Send a link. Now she's begging you to play the rest of my Ellen link again. She acting like a physician nowadays. I don't know.
She acting like a physician nowadays.
That Eugenia are talking to.
Well,
yeah. First, she said Steve should stop playing video and just send a link. Now she wants Steve to stop to play the rest of the video. So I don't know.
Well, Mr. Cannon, another thing that's brewing in this whole international saga or noise that seemed to be overlooked or not taken into serious consideration is this whole issue about this guy being I don't know, man. I really hope we can get, Justice Janet. If we can get Justice Janet to come so we can have this conversation, I think it's very important, and this thing is degenerating very fastly.
Wait, about what happened? The guy who was allegedly killed or missing.
Yeah. Honorable Yaga Koloma spoke about it before.
Let me see if I can get some.
Chairman Bailey, the chairman need to weigh in on it.
Let me make some phone call real quick, and then I'll come back. Why we on the break?
Yeah. While we talk about that, let's go back to the one second was gone. Let's go back to the social issue that we're talking about. The girl that people are claiming, that she got mental health issue or whatever it is. And I agree with you. I don't know that you or that Milburn has said it, more likely, so it could be you that said, because it was a male that was attacked in this context, some females automatically revert into some kind of excuse.
To mental diagnosis.
As opposed to holding her accountable. But here is the irony of it. Here is the interesting part about all of this. Some of these same females use their monies, use their resources to support people who have exhibited in public mental instabilities over a long period of time, that they meet the criteria and the diagnosis, they meet the criteria of certain diagnosis.
Oh, yes.
They calling them that they are quote unquote picking sides, they're in the corners of these people. They don't say it's something wrong with them mentally. But as somebody else who hate a man, when it comes to, when we say some of these things, sometimes people think that we're doing a gender thing. But to be very honest with you, Mr. Monk, as a male, I always say, and I stand by it, I feel like the pressure is on us. The expectations are set too hard. The bar is set for us too hard. And most of these women pass around feel entitled. They come around, want to control you, tell you what to do, push you around, push over. And if you can't get into the little emotional game, when you try to tell them, say them, get the emotions checked and regulated, and don't bring that foolishness this way, then you're disrespectful, or you dismissive, or you can listen to them, or you can do the way you can. Who want to be talking or involved with somebody, or even having a conversation with somebody who got emotional imbalance? 1 minute you cool, 1 minute you're not cool, 1 minute you this, 1 minute you're not this. Your level of inconsistency alone creates problem for somebody who knows mental health, and that the kind of foolishness people should be passing around with. So, Monk, I mean, you made a very good point, bro. To be honest with you,
but that's a fact, Steve. Every law, whether it comes to marriage, whether it comes to the family, whether it comes to expectation, for me, I know I don't have the power to change global order. I know that this war is positioned in such a way that everything is against the male gender. And there are people who are just trying to do everything possible to make sure that they can set two sets of conditions, one for the male and one for the female. But when it comes to the implementation, when it comes to execution, when it comes to punishment, it's only the male gender. So I know the war is not fair when it comes to men. I don't need no lecture on that. My thing is, the one thing that I said, that's why I said I will extend an appreciation to Brother Colley, because he showed restraint. He showed that he can hold his cool under extreme pressure. And that's how you can test a man's ability, also a temperament. Because when you are under pressure, men are noted to strike, use their instinct, especially when they are at risk, in an environment. That's just psychological or biological issue right there. And men hate to be disrespected, especially in the public setting. Because she set the camera, and he knew. When you watch the video, you could see him looking into the camera. Not too many men I know of. Maybe myself, I don't think I could have passed that test, but he was able to keep his cool. My thing here is, I have been the opposite way. You are going to hear about toxic masculinity, how he parenting, training, how he's very rude, how he's abusive. But the moment the woman know, the vast majority of the consensus is she has some mental instability. But I keep telling you, I told Mabel, I said, no, we will have to wait for Steve to come here, because we are not psychoanalysts. We are not into behavioral science. So, but I know certain tendencies that she displayed that I saw, like giving social media update that her viewership or her views were increasing. No, it doesn't tell me anything about mental state. One other lady, I don't want to call her name, she said she used to sell cream to her, and for some reason her face is not clear like before. So she, based on the usage of the cream, she could tell that the girl not in the look. Our people are something else. Can you imagine, right? You see a woman abusing a man, and the very first thing she said was, this girl, I've been knowing her for a few years, and she been buying cream for me. She been taking care of herself. But from her physical appearance at the moment, based on her face and the kind of her hair wig and the cream she's using, I can tell you, God, that she is not stable mentally. Then some people came with a spiritual aspect. So for the women or women in general, they will always try to protect them, because that's just how society, that's how we were programmed. Nothing is going to change. I am just saying, if it had been the men or the other way around, trust me, you are going to hear about all the toxic masculinity adjectives being used, and I just name you some of them. So it wasn't strange. My only thing I would tell you, I will lean with you when it comes to that advice, that he should get the authority involved, because she's on one video saying that she will still send a message to him, and she will prove a point by going to even bring the horse even further. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not into mental, or health science, or how they call it, behavioral science. So maybe you could give our audience a better detailed understanding and explanation, but I don't think, I'm just from my own observation. That's why I came up with that analysis by saying the men did extremely well in that situation under such a pressure.
Well, without putting any kind of diagnostic thing out there, whatever it is, let's just look at the behavior that she exhibited or demonstrated. Let's look at it. First of all, it's not normal in this day and age for somebody to want to commit a crime and be the person to record themselves on that committing that crime. It's not a normal thing. It's not a normal phenomenon. People don't normally do it. It's not expected, right? Monk, you agree with me from a common sense perspective? You agree with me for that? So the fact that she recorded herself doing that and put herself on record, that alone speaks volume to either somebody who is not alert and oriented, but it will also be for gratification. People find pleasure in that.
Yeah.
It could also be an attention-seeking thing without understanding the long-term consequences, right? Or the impact of her actions. But then let's get to the part where I think now, in all honesty, she becomes danger to this guy or to the public. Because in order to, let's say, safely commit someone to any kind of mental health treatment or mental health evaluation, one of the things we assess for is danger to self. So normally you will see people writing in an order. Normally we'll write those order, we'll write, DTO, which is danger to self, or DTS, danger to self, or DTO, danger to others, right? And so in this case, the fact that she alluded to that she will prove a point. And I think I saw a short clip of a video where she said she would burn the house down. Like she basically detailed her plan, talking about gas on the house and so forth. Let's forget about the mental health component of it. Let's forget about the psychological component of it. That in itself is a threat. It is a threat. And nobody, no normal human being should overlook that. Whether she will act up on it or not, something needs to be done. Something needs to be put in place, some kind of measure. So that in itself can be used to get authority attention, to alert them to this, that this is a dangerous behavior, because burning the house could be danger to herself, could be danger to others, and even the neighbors and the community at large. So this is a problem. So that means we have to look at this girl. Whether you want to say it's a spiritual problem, it's a mental breakdown, it's a psychotic breakdown, however you want to consider it. Let's just look at it, the simple threat and danger she poses to herself, to this guy, and to the general population at large. For that alone, she can be committed to some kind of mental health evaluation or some kind of treatment, or to find out from a security standpoint what is really wrong, what's going on, why is she taking these steps, and what are measures. And she has to be cleared by licensed, either psychologist or licensed therapist, or someone who has the inclination to be able to clear her out. Now, let me be clear on this part. Let me be very, very clear on this part. This is a very sticky situation that I think in as much that we can, at one point I agree with you that this guy demonstrated, restraint and so forth. On the other hand, also, I'd have to agree. I will also have to say, I'm not trying to play the gender card here, but the truth of the matter is something has got to be done about this girl's problem. It's no longer a social media talk. The fact that she went into actions, she demonstrated some unstable behavior, some erratic behaviors. These are all reasonings to be able to get her in for some kind of evaluation, some kind of check, and so forth. So all that spiritual thing and so forth. And please don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. This could also be substance induced. You never know. This could be a psychotic breakdown because of what's going on in her life at the moment. You never know. The only way to find out some of these things is to clear her out, to be safe, to come into the general population, to be able to mingle with people and work with people who are alert and oriented, is for this girl to be committed.
Steve, the reason I told Miriam, I said we need to wait for you to come on the show to give an in-depth analysis as to what happened. There were certain things, certain behavior that I noticed from the video where it was self-contradictory, right? And you talk about the whole issue of threatening to burn the house. But one other segment of a video that I really paid keen attention to was the idea that she said the guy attempted to poison her food. And when she ate the food, she was getting weak. But yet then still, after making those accusations, she was still eating the food. So I was like, okay, if we say this guy is going to poison you, and you make the statement, and then you going back to the bowl of rice and still taking the rice and putting it in your mouth. I mean, what sense does it make? And when you are claiming that the food is making you weak, then where are you taking the energy from to keep punching the man in the belly, even at the same time claiming that you are getting weaker? Because I know weaker people don't throw punches. You won't be able to jack up a man and keep hitting all in the stomach and all in the face. So everything about her was self-contradictory and self-implicating. Because if you are telling, and you just said, when the whole issue of her burning the house, you cannot be threatening to burn her because of self-implication. You're doing it on video. People will record that video and keep it for years or if not decades. So the thing here is that it's so stable, you cannot make sense of it. But equally so, there are people who left from back home with a whole different mentality or a whole different mindset. They believe that I could tell the guy that I'm not who he think I am. I could inflict or damage on him. So you can say because she threatened to bring her, maybe she still believes that she's in Africa or the way we do things, because I think she's been here for maybe 4 or 5 years. If I'm not mistaken, sometimes you come from orientation, you're coming from a different society into another society, a whole different thing. Maybe she believes people can bring her in this country when they are married, their boyfriend or their husband. So you cannot assume that, oh, just because she threatened to burn the house, so mostly it's a mental issue. No, maybe it could be a cultural orientation issue coming from one, how they call it, they got a fancy name for how they call it, ethnocentrism, immigration and all that stuff, or cultural shock. So it could be so many things. That's why I keep saying I'm not going to be the one to judge her because I'm not qualified to make that kind of a decision. But I just know that the inconsistency in some of the testimony that she made on her own video, they just cannot pass the smell test. I mean, that's just how I saw it.
True, Mom. True to you. But there is a, and again, this is not to diagnose her, but what you've said kind of correlates to hallucination, because there are different types of it. You see, we don't want to jump into all of these different ones, right? But the ones that sticks out, just from a general perspective, would be, Monk, let me be honest with you. Some people believe they're reality. They're incoherent, they're delusional, they believe it, right? But from this case, could this be hallucination? Is she having visual hallucination? Not visual, auditory hallucination? Who's telling her that this people were poison? Who told her? Is she hearing voices? Is she? No. Let me say this. Let me say this. And these are some of the things that are overlooked in Liberia. Let me tell you something. One of the very first questions I will ask off the bat: is she using any drug? Is she drinking? Is she drinking? Is there any substance involved? When was the last time she used something? Because there are some substance-induced psychotic behavior that could be demonstrated. Now, over the past few times, when did she start acting this way? So we got to keep all of these things in context in order to determine exactly what would be, and these are not things that we discuss in Liberia, in the Liberian context, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's a cultural component to this. These are not things to talk about. But again, bottom line here, this is a sad situation, like Eugenia said. I agree with her. This is very unfortunate, but I believe we can use this moment as a learning and a learning curve as a nation and as a people especially those of us who are in the diaspora, let's get professionals to have this conversation. Let's get professionals to have this conversation. And me personally, I'm willing, whoever knows her personally, just to get some background information to find out what's going on and get her the right referral to help her. Because she lives in Minnesota, I live in Arizona. There is no way she can really commit to me caring for her or whatever it is. However, we can do referrals. However, we can refer her to get the help that she needs or whatever it is, as opposed to just jumping straight to, oh, you know, it's a spiritual thing, and you know, the spirit behind her. You see that the thing what we've done back home, and we've limited some of these things where people can get help to get treated. We take everything, we put it on religion, and then we stress the pastors and the religious leaders, and people got to
make money.
I read into a similar thing. You get them speaking in tongue over this guy who is already delusional, and this guy won't choke the pastor to death. And these guys are speaking in tongue and they're yelling, you know, and they're exacerbating the situation.
Just you don't understand, Steve. You don't understand exactly what they are doing.
And it's chaotic. And come to find out, guess what happened? This guy come to find out. You can miss your medication. He on certain medication, psych medication. He went and drank. So guess what? It's exactly that situation. Make him to start acting up. He started hearing voices and start seeing things that were not there. And he said the people telling him, okay, the pastor, before you make up mind, put the pastor in your hole. And the pastor is there. But when I get back to the politics, guys, we'll have time to talk about some of these things.
So let me just give you some of the latest news coming from our judicial reporter. I'm getting report that the embattled speaker again run to the court. So he said from the court, the embattled speaker, Councillor Fanati Kofa, has surfaced with another petition to the Supreme Court regarding his colleagues' action. Councillor Kofa legal team headed by Councillor Arthur Johnson has filed a petition for a writ of mandamus to compel his colleagues to return to the main chamber. So that's the latest news that we're getting from the court. That again,
My man, thank you for the update. Tomorrow we can't do local men who running in the house. We're talking about international team.
Yeah.
You know that we've been running for a more change. Forget about those men.
So to that social issue quickly, Steve, myself, even through my entire life, before sorry, I haven't seen the kind of reactions from someone who is mentally, or maybe who have mental problem, or who has spiritual issues that people are saying to burn horse, to do this, to do that. For me, I haven't seen that. The only thing I always see all throughout my time, Steve, sometimes the person will walk out of the horse, people will be running after them, sometimes they tie them, sometimes they hold them. You know, they are just always seeing like leaving a home, going out in the streets, sometimes having themselves naked and so forth. That's what we've been observing throughout the time. And they're well now we can know that the person, maybe that mental or maybe understand are going beyond control. But to see that the person will go for shower, they will go for this, they will go, in fact, they will maybe telling Facebook, thank you, or Steve, thank you, Mo, thank you, Sekou, thank you for everything. Then, well, maybe then a part of mental illness is good. I hope to be there.
So before Sekou react, because it was Sekou's turn to react to the videos and get into the international and the politics of the day, before Sekou reacts, let's be clear. I did not say anybody was that guy is mental ill. Nope, I didn't say it. I said there are a lot of different things coming up. I did not also say that this was solely hallucination. I said it could be a possibility. So let's be clear. I'm very careful on certain topics and on certain things because I know the intricacy and I understand where not to go, where not to just definitely say certain things if I don't have the facts to it. But Mr. Kane, what say you? What is your reaction vis-a-vis what Monk said about what you heard from previous presidents about the relationships with the U.S., foreign policies, and so forth?
So, first of all, I told you guys I was going to make some phone calls. I was able to speak to 2 different people. We're looking forward to see if we can bring Justice Jane on as soon as possible. Not today, but as soon as possible. We're looking forward to that. Beyond that, the case involving the the guy in question, the sheriff guy in question,
Mhm.
we were informed reliably that in fact the guy was, and this is not coming from Justice Janet. So I don't want anybody to think that because I couldn't get Justice Janet, but I talked to somebody else
Okay.
that told me that that case is so sensitive that the guy is apparently, allegedly being killed, and the guy was not killed in Liberia, that the guy was taken from the prison and turned over to the Guinean junta,
Mhm.
and the junta killed him. And this is serious top officials of government that are giving me this information from the executive. And the person is even afraid, telling me that this country is very fragile. This country is on a time bomb, that anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's what the person telling me. And from the executive, I was shocked a little bit. There are a lot of things I can share with you guys behind the scene that I can talk right on here. But
Right.
it's scary. Secondly, as I speak to you, there are conversations going on regarding to the speaker and the majority group, also with the ECOWAS people. A lot going on right now behind the scene. Tomorrow's show will be really, really, really interesting because we have gotten a lot of information in this short period of time that we have to somehow filter the information. We have to authenticate some of the information. Then we will definitely be on the show tomorrow. We'll be speaking on those things tomorrow. Possibly we'll have some people on the show tomorrow to help us understand the current situation of our country. But a lot been going on here behind the scene. I was shocked to hear some stuff. But again, as Mabon will always say, let's pray for our country. I don't know if a prayer can save us, but if I just want to follow Mabon. So
Okay.
with regards to the video that you played, Liberia, we are independent on paper, but we are not independently independent. We are sovereign nation. We have sovereignty, but we're not independent financially. We depend on everybody. We depend on everybody to survive, especially the United States. Being the main source of of our finances. Any support system from outside government, we're getting more from the United States, and they being our traditional and consistent ally for years. You hear President Reagan was talking about 120 years. That was how many years ago when they took power? That was in 1980.
Yeah.
And then President Do talk about we've been allies, been friends for over 150 years. So imagine that time up to now. But a lot have changed. Conditions, situations, technology, education, a lot have changed. Foreign policies, leaders, values, a lot have changed. So before, like President Turbo, even President Taylor of late, he said no country or no president of Liberia will survive or make good president if you're not in book Washington. So to see Joseph Nima Boakai, government, making some, move towards Russia and other powerful nations like China, for this D&H is not a bad thing. Before, it used to be a terrible thing for Liberia. Because why? American policies across party line, Republican or independent, they held American policy to a very serious extent. But with the election of Donald Trump, I don't think it's a big deal for anybody to work with Russia or do anything with Russia that it will affect American way towards you. Donald Trump is in the pocket of Russia. Donald Trump, he said it very clear, he got along very well with Putin. This guy, Elon Musk, that ran the campaign for Donald Trump, who is the most powerful, the richest person in the world right now. He talked to Putin on a regular basis. Not only that, there was a report right before the election. The satellite system that Elon Musk has. Putin called Elon Musk and told him not to allow Taiwan to use that satellite system because China used Putin to talk to Elon Musk, and he agreed. He didn't use it. And the same system, when Ukraine is supposed to use it, he took it from Ukraine because it was going to undermine Russia's fight against Ukraine, especially when they had a ship that came to attack Ukraine. So I'm mentioning this to tell you, before during the Cold War, America was very serious when it comes to their adversary or the so-called enemies. When it comes to China, when it comes to Russia, they could not see eye to eye. They were taking Russia to be their enemy. But the current political environment, it may not be good right now, especially during the lame duck section of President Joseph Biden. It may strain some relationship with Liberia, if at all they got to know about this. But guess what? After January 20th, when Donald Trump is in power and becomes president, I don't think it will matter. Anybody doing any business with Russia or doing anything with Russia will strain America will towards you, because Donald Trump is a different man. He has different opinion. He has different take when it comes to America foreign policies, and he doesn't see those countries as enemy or as adversary. He sees them as friends. He gets along with them. He rings praises on all of them. So pretty much it was going to be a big deal, bad behavior in regular America, under regular circumstances, under a normal president. Right now, it may seem to be an issue, but after Donald Trump, takes over, I don't think it'll be anything. And I have changed as well.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Connor, you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me disagree with you and Mark. Let me disagree with both of you guys. The Americans have made it clear. Donald Trump is the elected president. He can choose to be in bed with Putin, whether because of personal reasons, financial reasons, or so forth. But the Americans are very clear on certain lines that they don't cross, such as Russia. They're not in bed with Vladimir Putin. And it is clear to the world that one of America's disliked or enemies, let me use that word. I think it will be a stronger word. People that they can't really work with is Russia. And Russia has done everything they can.
So let me ask you.
Yes.
You can answer the question in continuation. Who direct, control, and manage American foreign policy?
What do you mean?
I mean,
the president can propose, but the president can propose, but both houses got to agree to it. You don't just
Okay.
run a foreign policy like that.
Okay. I'm telling you. I'm sorry to inform you that Donald Trump is in bed with Russia. He's a friend with Putin, and he will be the one to direct, control, and manage the foreign affairs based on his agenda. Beyond that, Donald Trump controls the Republican Party. He owns it. He controls the Republican House of Representatives. He controls the Republican House of the Senate. He controls the American Supreme Court. And Donald Trump and his party are in control of the entire country, all branches of government, including the Supreme Court. So Donald Trump decides where America will go. And I can tell you, Donald Trump will have no problem with anybody doing business with Russia. And America will not have a problem with you as long as Donald Trump is the president.
No, I disagree with you, Mr. Kane.
People have their say. People will disagree. They'll have their say, but they'll have no capability to change anything.
No, they will, because this particular country, the United States of America, is like you saying Donald Trump is a sole dictator that whatever he says, even when he has a Republican House and a Republican Senate, automatically will pass. Let me just clarify something today, because in as much as I disagree with Donald Trump from a moral standpoint, Mr. Kane, most recently the Senate even voted to replace Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump's favorite, who he wanted to be in charge of the Senate. You know the guys rejected him and they pick a total different person. This is to tell you that fundamentally, you can be the president of this country, but there are agendas that are set. There are some things that Americans will not compromise their values for in the country.
This is a different time, Steve.
Eh?
This is a different time. Trust me.
So you think America will coerce or will be coerced by Donald Trump to fall in line with Russia?
Anything Donald Trump wants in America will happen.
Who's
going to stop it?
Mr. Kennedy, both houses.
How will stop it? Everything in America here is by the vote. It has everything to his disposal. And
no, but they gave you a big signal. They gave you a big signal. They gave you a big signal that, first of all, they're not going to fall in line in terms of the house or both houses. They're not going to fall in line 100% with Donald Trump's pick. For example, his pick. Secondly, Mr. Kennedy, here's something that's very important. I think Donald Trump is not doing himself a good thing because he's picking out Mark Gay. Mark Gay, who been pushing his agenda in the House. Mark Gay, who wanted his strong surrogate. He want Mark Gay to come and work with him in the executive. That Marco Rubio, he won't take on Marco Rubio and other people. What I'm saying in essence is this, Mr. Kennedy. I don't think the United States will degenerate automatically because Donald Trump wants this. There are certain principles in this country, the rule of law in this country. There are certain things that they will not allow to slam, Mr. Kennedy. I understand that Donald Trump has influence, and yes, he has control of both houses now. Given that's true, but I don't believe the United States is a Liberia that everybody will say because Joseph Braga said, so everybody fall in line.
Okay. All right, let me say this on the final comment on this, then maybe more will come in. Just so you know, and for our audience to know, America here, one of the most important things that even got Donald Trump elected, one of the reasons Donald Trump got elected is immigration. Immigration has been a decade issues in America. It affects America in so many ways. It has some upsides and downsides. Immigration bill was generated. Donald Trump was not even in power. He was not president. But one of the most conservative member of the Senate, Frank Langford, guess what happened? All Republicans, conservatives, they voted for it. It was bipartisan bill that could solve or resolve the immigration problem that America has been facing for years. Guess what? Donald Trump told them, don't pass it. If you pass it, we'll not have nothing to wrong or to talk about during our election. We have to use the immigration because Democrats open the border. Democrats did that. So if you fix it now, while Democrats stay control the executive, use it at the advantage during the election. Guess what? They cave into Donald Trump. Right now, in Donald Trump America, don't never judge America like you think the America of yesterday. Anything is possible. Don't get me wrong. Some things could change. Donald Trump could surprise people by not doing certain things. But unless he decides not to do it, but anything Donald Trump wants in this country, he gets. Right now, I'm not talking about tomorrow, but today, Donald Trump owns the United States government. He owns the country. There will be people who will reject some of his stuff. There will be people that are going to fight, but you don't have the number to fight him.
Well, but before Mon come in, my humans are kind of that 4 years. Midterm election will come. I believe the Democrats will be able to take over one or two houses or both houses. So there will be some kind of check and balance. I don't want to, for me personally, I don't believe Donald Trump will just be the boogeyman or this dictator that will just come and just control the whole United States.
Donald Trump told you will become a dictator on day one. He said it, not me saying it. And anything Donald Trump say, I believe him.
Okay.
What
say you?
Along when Sekou created his own theory, I don't like to go into American politics because I know some people can be in their feelings when they're on SKTV. This whole idea that just because you win an election, it will be a dictator, because I know there is a constitutional limit. The president has limited power in this country. That whole crap that Donald Trump threatening lawmakers, the first of all, it's not even logical, because in America, when it comes to immigration, lawmakers are the one that set the agenda. Like I keep saying, the only thing the president can do is to protect his border and executive power when it comes to immigration. People make reference and they don't reference history. In 2008, the reason most American presidents have fought immigration issue because immigration is a very contemptuous issue. Even Obama decided to touch it. Jack Durbin, the senior senator from Chicago, said, you know what happened in this country? When you want to last the presidency, don't mess around with immigration. You can play with healthcare, focus on your Obamacare, forget immigration. In 2008, when there was a bipartisan legislation on the floor, under Bush presidency, President Bush came up with an idea. There are people who came to this country that are looking for better living. They got children here, that children are here contributing to this society. We need to pass a bipartisan immigration bill. The most we can do for people who violate the law, we can fine them, we can give them some kind of a fiduciary punishment, but we cannot say we can deport all of them. It's almost absolutely impossible. But if we can find them, then we can help protect the border. The whole issue about building a wall, it wasn't even Donald Trump. It started from Bush administration. They called it the Secure Fencing Act. Matter of fact, under President Bush, they started building the wall or a fence or whatever you want to call it. The only difference was they never provide all the funding to complete it, but certain portion of the wall were built under Bush. So what Democrats did when the bill came on the floor, they believed that if George Bush had passed a comprehensive immigration plan, most Latino were going to be voting Republican rather than Democrat because it passed on a Republican president. Who carried that bill? Democrat carried that bill. So the whole idea that Donald Trump, he threatened member of Congress, that's a joke. How can Donald Trump threaten Congress when the Constitution gave Congress the sole authority on immigration? How can you even put the logic onto that? How? I don't know how we drift from the whole Russia thing and now we are to the whole Donald Trump thing, because I think Sekou and they are yet to get what defeat. For me, I don't like to argue. I just know in this country, when it comes to that policy.
I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, Monk. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. I still believe Donald Trump is a joke. I still believe he's not a serious-minded leader. He's not a serious-minded man. I still believe that he's an immoral man. I still believe he's a convicted criminal. I still believe that.
Wow.
But the matter here is this: the United States will not sit down and let Donald Trump run everybody. No. That's where my disagreement comes in. And with the whole issue of Russia and Liberia, I'm saying to me, I won't be on the record. I won't be wrong. President Joseph Boakai is melting the wrong way. Historical facts have proven when you turn the foreign policy away from the United States of America, and you go, we won John Weah when he started, and he goes to that, he's going to bust with China and were passing around to bringing Chinese here, whatever it is. When we went to Europe and again, I know the 10,000 institutions that came out, were passing all around, had job where they will be successful, job where play football in Europe. We told them this is not the sustainable way to go. Nobody said you can maintain relationship with people. It's your right as a sovereign nation. But your allies, those who have been there, if you listen to all the other presidents that were there before, America has done the most for Liberia. And let no Liberian blame America for our suffering. Blame your leaders. All the monies America have invested in our country, they have stolen those monies. They have used it for themselves. Whether it's President Doe, whether it's Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, they lavish the money. Let me put in Joseph Boakai word.
Right, so
The Safun opportunity, the squandered opportunities. So let not blame America.
yeah, so Steve, I know, if we going to talk about American politics, we're not going to end today. We're not even going to discuss Liberia. So we'll not do that. I brought in Donald Trump's name because of he's about to take over the country. So whenever we discuss foreign policy, he's the one going to be on the steering wheels of directing the foreign policy of America. And the fact that he is in bed with Russia, he's in bed with Putin, that's what I said. I see nothing happening. I mean, this is not a secret. Donald Trump even afraid of Putin. Donald Trump, while he was president, he went against American intel. So he agreed with Putin more than his own intel. It was on camera. So those things are not something that I'm making up. Those things happen in front of the whole world. Donald Trump is, like you said, Donald Trump is a joke. But the American people said they want a joke. So let's see how you're going to run the country for the next 4 years. There'll be another president after Donald Trump. Let's just pray for long life and good health. So we're all not going to die. He's not going to deport everybody. But he will do whatever he wants to do. This is his country. He owns the country. He owns the government. He owns all branches of the government as we speak. That is a fact. So, there are other information that I wanted to share with you guys.
Yes, please.
Regarding the House of Representatives, the commotion within the House of Representatives is getting very, very intense. Joseph Boakai is 100% behind the coup that was staged against the speaker. And I think the speaker is in the know of what is going on. And the other group, they were told not to comply, not to listen, not to do anything with ECOWAS. ECOWAS people that will come, they will say whatever they want to say, they will go back. They're not going to listen to them. They are dug in. They have made up their mind. Joseph Boakai government will work with the majority bloc, and Liberian government will function. And the same ECOWAS people that came in the country to mediate, we were informed that eventually, before they go, they will even pacify. They will try to pacify Kofa, tell him to let go. They will. They will call Kofa and tell him, let him here for the sake of peace, for the sake of your country. They don't want you, just let it go. October say, everybody will come once there's a problem, when there's a commotion going on in the country or anywhere. All the leaders, all the movers and shakers will come and everybody want to get their piece of the pie. At the end of the day, the decision. Who is calling? Hold on. Maybe a second.
Well, so if you're just joining us, this is the SKTV show, and I wanted to ask Steve and that Monk, including Sekou, but again, we already transition, about the sanctions that have been placed on Russia as we do business. How that going to work out? That was my question. But again, we already transitioned. So yes, because I'm very confused on the entirety. Yeah, more.
And that's why Melbourne, before we go to the land, that's why I said from the beginning, whether we like it or not, doing business with Russia is a problem. Let me say it again. I know people don't make it sound like it's political. It's not political. These are facts.
I'm confused.
There are historical facts to prove it. That every time the Liberian, let me say this. You know, sometimes when we say these things, people think that we hate the government, we hate Joseph Boakai. On SKTV, let me tell you, we don't support a government. We don't fight against a government. We only fight to point out what is wrong. We have always, in fact, if anything, anybody should be giving all credit. If anything for if you guys were sincere and you guys like what is right and what is good, you will be giving SKTV credit for what we do. We help your government. It's just that some of you are helping doing what is wrong. That's it.
So Steve,
it's another scam.
So Steve, Vanilla Patrick is asking to call in to give his opinion on something that we were talking about.
Most definitely so, Mr. Kane.
You know, Vanilla Patrick is our boy.
Vanilla
Patrick, the former SKTV man.
But say the member read group, what's in there?
Hey, my dear brother, how you doing? How you doing, good people of the United States and Liberia?
We're doing great, VP. What's going on?
How are we? Good. I see. But why Moses is talking over there like, how can you talk to your uncle like that?
Uncle, sorry, I take it back. Uncle.
You gotta think about that. Oh, find you. Yeah, my man, I miss you guys, man.
We miss you too.
I follow regularly. The other day I was in Senegal. You got a good fan there in Senegal. I think they monitor you guys regularly. They don't want to make me to understand. So I get the other minute. I said, oh, but that's good.
That's good.
But I called in because I'm interested in a conversation with reference to the ECOWAS stuff you guys were talking about, and the ongoing political debacle at the House of Representatives.
Okay.
First, let me commend Mr. Alexander Kumi for being very objective and asking Liberians to subscribe to the rule of law. And this is what we expected of all opposition political parties. But I wanted to send this as a copy to all opposition leaders in this country. This is the beginning of the rigging of the 2029 elections. If the rescue mission that I consider to be the rascal mission is going to get away with this, Liberians will get prepared that 2029, the election will be rigged. They say practice makes perfect. This thing is not about beating around the bush. It can boot a certain speaker unconstitutionally. They can also steal the election unconstitutionally. And any opposition leader that sits quietly without making a direct intervention and hold this government to account to stop them from proceeding in removing a certain speaker unconstitutionally, they should be they should be very prepared to also dance to the tune of the very government come 2029. Why am I saying this? Look, people believe that because it happened in the past, history should be repeated. I'm saying no. The condition that existed yesterday when Ellen was the dying girl of the West in the United States, those conditions are not existing anymore. Things have changed. What even baffles me is the fact that when you remove the speaker unconstitutionally, what you and I get to benefit will benefit nothing. Absolutely nothing. So why is it that we cannot use the rule of law? It is important to emphasize that the rule of law should be utilized because Liberians stand to benefit more. Because when this speaker is put on trial, he will explain to us how he got $2 million in a budget. At the end of the day, he spent $7 million. The question I ask is, the Ministry of Finance is still at the national legislature. So one man cannot see 7 million.
So VP, let's do this. Your perspective on this is very, very, very unique and strong. I wish we have more time to have this conversation. What I'm going to ask you, if you will, tomorrow we're going to be here. You can call him. You can call him earlier. If you want me to send you the link, we can send you the link to talk about this particular subject. And beyond that, there is a meeting going on as we speak. And I'm privileged to some of the information that we decided not to talk about them tonight. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about those things here tomorrow. And we'll know from tomorrow, we'll know exactly the fate of Speaker Kofa. Trust me. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I can guarantee you, some of you being, other area where, it's been alleged that, Bwaka is not aware, President Bwaka is not part of this. President Bwaka is actually the one that wants to get rid of Kofa, and who is on the mission doing the work is the current vice president, and we know it. We got all the facts available to us. So tomorrow, if you have time, you can come in. We can talk about it.
Tomorrow, what time?
Our show time is always the same. I mean, 6 p.m. Labrador time.
Okay, 6 p.m. Okay, no problem. So let me just conclude.
Conclude quickly, because we're running out of time. We're going to be going off the radio. That's why I thought to stop you soon.
Okay, no problem. I'll be here tomorrow, and thank you for a 40-minute time. Moses, you ran away from me. You'll be fine.
All right, but man, thank you, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Uncle, I'll call you.
So Steve, Mayborn, and Monk. I know, we normally, 3 of us have been a mini, 3 of us can't be on the show at the same time. So when we come, the time can be too short.
I know. Yeah, but I can't believe that.
You see, they're Monk, yeah. I got to I got to take on Monk and Jimmy Yato when it comes to the whole Republican and Democratic. Yeah, because I really want to also have that debate.
Yes. Yeah, because
so that we can educate other people who may not be informed as we are on the subject matter.
Yes,
so
I think that would be good.
But today they're not good time for you. We're sorry that we took
no time. So quickly on yesterday, a lady called yesterday and she said that she didn't hear from Monk, and unfortunately we didn't get her number. So I just want to say this to her that we're not taking calls, but please call me on that same number that you called on yesterday, which is 00777-285. Now, I better stay, come to 25 and compound. Come here on tomorrow Friday, and come so that I can.
So why you go? You start collecting money.
SKTV now.
Somebody without our approval.
No money yet. I'm just
money yet.
Money there to you? Because I get no money yet.
Money there. Mom, you're more collecting money, but the mom part the way mom trying to take excuse now. That action going to block all his excuse now.
Yeah, but seriously,
I ain't trying to take money. This lady call. We know our people sometimes they can act slow on things, but we still got people that got a lot of good heart. And her story was very touching. And the one disclaimer I made yesterday, I said we are not about to start something we cannot end. Yeah. Because I know our people, and even to pay our SKTV bill, we have been lagging for the past more than a month, I would say. So for a lady to call here, she said something very personal about her son, how she borrowed money. I think she been tormented to repay those phones. And there were a few individuals apart from me, even though she called my name directly, but the people that are making the contribution said, I was surprised. One other guy from Florida, because her story was a little bit touching. The only thing I said, we are not about to start something we cannot end. Because I know we are on the radio in Liberia. Somebody else will want to take that chance too, and they will want something for SKTV. And I don't think.
You don't know how many calls I can get.
Mother Steve, that can suffer in my hand,
Yeah.
Melbourne, I beg you. Melbourne, something important happened yesterday, Mr. Kane. I listened to the show. There was someone that called in. One Papa called in and he said he's been the longest serving in the legislative branch of government in the building there. You remember, Milborn?
Yeah, I think it's someone at 54 something year.
Yes, Milborn. Can we please get a contact information from him? We would like to pick his brain because these are people that understand some things from the past that we can reconcile to today and just hear from them as to some of the things that they experience, that they know about the house, you know, and so forth. Now that he's not working there anymore, he's a Liberian, and maybe he can be able to talk and give us some insight on some things.
So the minister, it been 4 months, they're not getting paid. 6 months, they're not getting paid.
Yeah, but
even
I mean, the minister working.
Yes, even apart from some of the traditional elders, they even call me also. In fact, one of them even called also on the show yesterday evening, and he said that since 7 months they have been taking pay. In fact, he sent me all of the documents, all of their rock and roll between the vice president.
So maybe try to honor Steve's request or find the guy, his information, and other people who may have access to him, so that we can have them on here so they can give us a lot of information that we need, that they probably need to know. Right, Steve?
All right. So yes. So let me send the number. I'll call this number 0770-203125. That's the number for you to call again. 0770-203125. We're talking about our Oma and the Papa that spent nearly 53 years in the hospital.
When you begin a lawmaker?
No, you know what be a lawmaker, you've been working there.
Oh, okay.
54 years.
Working.
I think it's 55 years, something like that.
Tell me.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to call them.
Yeah, but Melbourne. Also, I wanted to make an announcement quickly, but I want us to be on the radio before I make the announcement.
Yeah, but you got to do it quick though.
For the people in Liberia, I'm begging you. SKTV wants to help you. We want to be part of your advocacy. We want to be part of the conversation going on in Liberia. But here are 2 things you must do. If you want for us to discuss any topic, we don't do gossip. Don't call me, don't call Sekou, don't call. If the facts are not substantiated, if you got evidential facts such as documents to prove it, then we can discuss the issue. If you call me to say, and the people they treating all like that, the labor law, and the treating all like that, bring the labor law. Let us look at it, let us read it. Then we can talk about it. To those of you who are making noise behind the hut, you're not getting paid for 7 months, 8 months, but you're still working, and you calling and complaining behind the house. Let me give you one recommendation. Go protest. If you don't want to go protest, then I mean you still got a job, you're protecting your job that you're not getting paid for, then keep that.
Steve, coming publicly to talk about it too is calling the government attention. That's a form of protest. It's good to talk about it.
Yeah, but let me ask you. Let me ask you the question. I'm not disputing what you say.
You just encourage them to come forward. You just did that.
But the next question I'm going to ask you that, you know what they can do? They'll call you behind the hall and say they want to protect their job. So they don't want for you to say that nobody wants to.
So let me protecting them, Steve. That's
protecting you.
Quickly, let me make my own announcement quickly. Because SKTV people, they refuse to support SKTV the way they support SKTV. That's why I'm trying to go slow.
Oh yeah,
Mom is tired with you. Mom give up on you.
Especially tomorrow, we're looking at tomorrow.
You guys are not serious, and it's a waste of time. And the people in Liberia too, they are voting. They're not serious. Well, nobody's serious. So Mom just give everybody that why I may want to go on a go slow. So whatever it is, we'll talk to Mom behind the scene. Whatever the case is, you got to make sure you support SKTV tomorrow or Friday.
Good night to all of you, and let me be frank.
Mom want to say something.
Okay, quickly.
Well, my stuff is not. It got nothing to do with the Friday contribution, but we talk behind the scenes. It's mostly personal. stuff that happening here, some changes that going on here. But you're right when it comes to supporting SKTV back, because if SKTV wasn't on the air, the lady who called yesterday, I would have known that she was in such a help. So the first line of operation is to make sure that this show is financed to cover operating costs, and then we can take on other major challenges. Look, SKTV is the public TV. It just because they say SKTV, that was some of us, we haven't been on Facebook. We decided to come here to learn our voices here because we know there are bigger fights going on in Liberia. And the only way to have an impact, because we are on the radio. The radio, not just like Facebook, not too many people can afford data, but our Oma, our Papene, all in the villages and towns throughout the country, they can listen to SKTV. And I just believe that when people believe in the cause, then they must sponsor and make sure that SKTV will be on all the time. That's just how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You're right. Yeah, but more we'll talk. We'll talk in the back. So Steve, I don't know.
Yeah, so folks, before we go, I know we've been talking about this lady's story. There are a couple of people that have gotten in touch with me behind closed door. We're going to talk about it. Again, for me, once they come to that place, that privacy and confidentiality, you will not hear me talk about it again. Once I gather some of the information that I need to gather, but all I can say is, let's support one another. Let's support each other especially when we notice the kind of thing in our community, in our society. Let's start this. It's real. Mental health, psychological issue is real. People go through a lot, and people have experienced a lot. So let's work together, folks. Let's have a good afternoon, good evening. Maybe this will prompt me coming back with a mental health show that we have on here for free. You never used to like it, so.
I had to call that little guest show on a Lo-Fi network. How to call it? They always come on Wednesday. I think you were one of the guest hosts the last time. I mean, I forget the name of it. Yeah. But it can be across Africa. But Steve, know what I'm talking about? That show where I got a full girl.
I can see some girls just sometimes.
Don't get a social issue. They don't focus on one thing.
Okay, mental health. Okay. All right.
Too much raw.
Yeah, that's surely raw.
Yeah, raw talk, raw, something like that. I know raw.
On SKTV, we had a session. On SKTV, we had a session for mental health. So I'm going to look at the schedule here, and then ask the leadership behind closed door if they agree we can resume the show. Just to provide some free education like we used to do. I know Sekou used to tune in every week.
I used to watch it. I used to share it.
Yeah, every week, Sekou used to be one of the very first person that used to come and watch the show. He will share and so forth. So maybe we'll get back to that. We'll do some of the politics, then we'll do that one free of charge on SKT. But maybe that will help the people to start.
Maybe we can help a lot of people in Liberia too.
Yeah, most definitely. Folks, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Let's have a good night. Mr. Kana, I will leave it with you because you can't leave.
No, we're coming. We're living together. I don't get down.
Yeah, but
the old man from Liberia that borrowed the under 7,000. I think she's doing great because the owner calls Sidisha and Eugenia and a few individual charming with her. So maybe tomorrow or power.
She made a big one.
I think she exceeded the 7,000. She in good business at the moment.
7,000 LeBron, how much US dollar?
I don't know the conversion, but I think it'll be below $100 though. It will maybe like 80.
Yeah, but, whatever she can get.
Oh yeah.
But we gotta make sure maybe won't authenticate this information though, because a lot of people have been calling be
lying. Yeah, but I know that like brothers. I told him yesterday you gotta be very careful as to who you deal with.
A lot of people, Saros has to confirm a lot of people. Some of them turn out to be lie. And yeah, so one guy even called one time, sent me some kind of picture that somebody different person for kind of broken, legs.
Broken leg picture.
Yeah, he said he had an accident in fire. He's about to go to Zirikore, Guinea to go because the boom specialist, this one, that one. Nothing happened, right? At the end at the end of the day, I said, okay, I will send the money to my son. Then my son go to me. He said, no. Just send the money to myself. I said, no. I said, I want to send it to my son. Then my son go see you. He said, oh, he just got in the car.
Yeah, that gave a different story.
He just got in the car. He went to Banga. So before I had the money with me. I wanted to send him, but nothing. It was a lie.
Okay, folks, I see you.
So my people, we say thank you to all of you guys for being here. with us for at least 2 hours. Mong, my man, we'll talk later. So whatever, that person, is action. Hopefully, people will come through.
Yeah, people came through. Even Murray Ducle came through. He told me one of our brother, but he said we shouldn't call her name because, he said I don't want my family point like bro, because they can be harassing me. So that was just a good way. You say, my man, yeah, I'm my own there, but don't call my name. I say I will respect that. I respect that a lot. But the honor cover edition, Eugene, Murray Ducle. I'm gonna say I chime in with something, but I think she's in good business. She will be okay. She will be able to pay her son's school fee and that debt. And I think she will still be left with something left. I mean, to buy other things because when you get kids, our people, I trust them when it comes to being kind-hearted. They will always show up.
No, our people, they always do that. That's true. All right, man. So tomorrow, right, Mom? My people, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. You'll be safe and have.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We judge it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Foreign people who willing to serve. Blessing that time and the effort of rest. The project is giving us here and the promise of them. The welcome and life without fear.
I lyrical health. Master.